Welcome back, everybody. Well, President Obama is setting up for his sixth State of the Union address next week, but it's the first for many members of Congress, including three who are joining us right now. They are part of the new class of freshmen offering new ideas on Capitol Hill and the hope of a fresh start for a gridlocked Congress. Joining us now, Congressman Ryan Zinke from Montana, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell from Michigan, and Congressman French Hill from Arkansas. Welcome to all of you. I have to say, both of you are Republicans, you're our Democrats. So it's really wonderful having all of you here because really right now so much is at stake. We're living under very difficult times. I want to bring up the fact first in terms of keeping up with the theme of terrorism right now. There are a lot of folks who are hoping that the president includes some new priorities or beefed up expectations for the fight against the jihadists in his State of the Union address. Do you hope and expect that he will?
Well, the first thing I think he has to identify to the American people what we face. It is an Islamic terrorist organization that we face. It's an ideology. You're not going to reform these guys. And when they decapitate children and crucify villages, you're not going to reform them. And we have to fight. And we have to fight for our values and our Constitution. And it's going to take resolve in American leadership. And what I expect from the president is that let's call it the way it is. Let's tell the American people the truth. The truth is it's not a small group of Islamic terrorists. When you have clergy that have millions of followers worldwide, and this is what they're articulating, we face a very significant threat, in my opinion, and we have to deal with it as a country. Unless we lead, no one else will. There is no one in the face of the planet that is like America, where we have a position of responsibility. We're a great nation, a powerful one, and with great power comes great responsibility, and we have to start leading from the front.
Congresswoman Dingell, do you feel uncomfortable with the fact that the White House refrains from calling this radical Islam or radical Islamic terrorists who are connected to these incidents?
Well, I think I do agree that terrorism, period, is a great threat, and that is one of the sources of it. We see people from around the world joining. ISIS is, I think, the latest, and what we need to be very concerned about, and who is joining them and what they are doing, frightening, and there's nothing rational about it. I concur that I hope that the president on Tuesday night will talk about the need for us all to be united, for our homeland security to be strong. I wish that we had not, in the bills that we were considering, tried to politicize them. I think we need to make sure we pass a Homeland Security bill that is not political and is clean and shows that we are all united in fighting the evil that is out there, and that we all be united in standing together as America in leadership fighting this terrorism.
Is it possible, though, Congressman, to keep the politics out of this debate that's going on right now, given the fact that the stakes are so high?
Well, Uma, I think that the president not only needs to talk about confronting this issue by calling it by name and getting consensus on that, but he's also got to demonstrate American leadership around the world with our allies. Because the only way we're going to defeat this Islamic terrorist threat, which has been going on for 3 decades and continues, is by having a united front with our freedom-loving allies around the world. And I hope he addresses that feature of it as well on Tuesday night.
The expectations are that the United States needs to lead the world on this, yet the president continues to say we need to have partners. And isn't it true that we also need real partners from the Muslim world as well? Those countries need to come together and work with the United States and Europe to fight the jihadists.
I do. I concur with you 100%. As we do need our allies, and allies are going to transition from, primarily Western to Islamic nations. My experience as the Navy commander, there was some Sunni tribes that fought with us, the Kurds, and we do need to be supportive on our values, and I think there's a lot of room to show that we are. But right now, our enemies don't fear us, and our allies don't trust us. And having a no-show foreign policy, even to our oldest ally, it sends a signal. And when you don't show up, or you don't address ISIS in a meaningful way, then I think it shows weakness. And what I think it does is it fuels a worldwide terrorist ideal that they can win. And they're not going to be able to win.
Do you think we look weak to the world?
No, I do. I'm going to disagree with on the one point. I think that I do believe that we have to be part of a coalition. I think that our Western partners are very important, that we all need to be strong in being united in opposing this evil. And I believe that our Arab partners are very critical to this. So I think it's very important that we not take a paintbrush and paint everybody as evil either. But I think we need to be strong. I think the president has tried to be strong. I think this country gets conflicted at times about how they want to see that leadership play out. I think it needs to be a strong coalition of world leaders fighting this evil together.
But yet, we continue to see the president in situations where he draws a red line, for example, with Syria, and doesn't act on it when there are concerns that Syria has used chemical weapons. There are concerns about the way we react when we're dealing with the treatment of these jihadis once they're captured, about whether or not we treat them as war criminals or we put them through the due process system that we have in our country.
Well, I differ with the president's direction. I think that he's sent mixed messages to our enemies and our allies along the way, particularly over the past 2 years since the conflict has erupted in Syria. And there's no doubt that by delaying a status of forces agreement in Iraq, that he gave ISIL an opportunity to blossom in Syria and explode across the border. And I'm concerned about that because this is a terror danger that will extend across the entire Middle East region, and it's something that has to be stopped. And I think you start by identifying who your enemy is and what you're going to do about it and build the coalition force to achieve that. And I do believe the president has sent mixed messages over the past 2 years in that regard.